Sobukwe talks of an establishment of an African social order that he refers to as an African socialist democracy. Right from its inception, Sobukwe's organization committed to the overthrow of white supremacy and the establishment of an African socialist democracy. He describes Pan-Africanism as having a number of characteristics, which are: firstly, it is Africanist in orientation, meaning that it seeks to solve the problems of humanity from an African standpoint or perspective. Secondly, he says it is socialist in content, which means that the central idea upon which all other ideas of Pan-Africanism rest is socialism. And that socialism in Pan-Africanism is like a nucleus in a cell. There's no Pan-Africanism without socialism. One cannot be Pan-Africanist and not socialist. Thirdly, it is continental in scope. The literal meaning of Pan-Africanism is African nationalism manifesting itself in all spheres of society that will give character to the African nation and endow the individual African with genuine dignity among the peoples of the world. Fourthly, he says it's dynamic in motivation. Sobukwe describes Pan-Africanism as a living philosophy that is not static by nature. It rejects dogmatism and convertism. Its nature allows the addition of new ideas and thus gets invigorated and enriched. It creates new instruments for new problems. Fifthly, it is creative in purpose. Number 6, Pan-Africanism is humanist in approach, which means that whatever Pan-Africanism does, it considers human life and human dignity. 7th, it is democratic in form, which means that Pan-Africanism is standing for the good interest of the majority of the people. Pan-Africanists reject the government of a few people who will use the majority for their personal interests. Number 8 characteristic is that it is non-racial in character. The myth of superior and inferior races was propounded and propagated by European imperialists and colonialists in order to make easy the justification of their inhuman exploitation of the indigenous people of Africa. In addressing ourselves to the national question as Pan-Africanists, we do not wear racial spectacles or prescribe racial solutions. 9th, last but not least, it is original in conception, which means that Pan-Africanism involves from the material conditions and circumstances obtainable in Africa. As I summarize, Sobukwe speaks of African nationalism as the only liberatory creed that can weld masses who are members of heterogeneous tribes into a solid, disciplined, and united fighting force that provide them with loyalty higher than that of a tribe and give formal expression to the desire to be a nation. Sobukwe states that the struggle in South Africa is part of a greater struggle throughout the continent for the restoration to the African people the effective control of their land. He says the ultimate goal of our struggle is the formation of a United States of Africa. Sobukwe says to us, we have a task to exercise slave mentality and to impart to the African masses that sense of self-reliance, which will make them prefer self-government rather than good government. I hereby plead that we heed to Sobukwe's call, that we take a trowel in our right hand and a shield in our left to commence the tremendous task of rebuilding the walls of Africa. Africa's cause must triumph. Africa must be free. We say to waverers and fence-sitters, choose now, tomorrow may be too late. Sobukwe says, choose now, because very soon we shall be saying with biblical simplicity that he who is with us, he who is not with us is against us. Izwe lethu, Africa.